Hello and welcome to My Daily Trivia. I'm your host, Danny. Today is Monday, October 16th, and I hope that you, yes, you, are having a wonderful day. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope you had a great weekend, and I hope your week is off to a great start. Now, if this is your first time listening, I of course want to say welcome to the show. My Daily Trivia is a 10-round quiz show with no specific themes, topics, or categories. But we do have a new episode every day, Monday through Friday. Each day gets progressively harder. So, of course, today is Monday, which means that we will be starting off the week with the easiest round of the week. Now, as always, if you find this episode to be a bit too challenging, if you find it to be a bit hard, I still encourage you to listen to our other episodes later this week. You never know. You might know the answer to a pretty difficult question, and even if you don't, you might learn something along the way. On the other hand, if you find this episode to be a bit too simple, if it's kind of easy for you on this Monday, well, then you can tune in tomorrow where we make it just a little bit harder. Now, without any further delay, let's get into today's round of questions with question number 1. Located on the south of Honshu and the northern shore of Osaka Bay, what K-word Japanese city gave its name to a type of beef? And that city is called Kobe. Kobe is the capital city of Hyogo Prefecture, Japan, with a population of around 1.5 million people. Kobe is Japan's 7th largest city and the 3rd largest port city after Tokyo and Yokohama. Kobe beef is Wagyu beef from the Tajima strain of Japanese black cattle, raised in the area around the city of Kobe, and is developed according to rules set out by the Kobe Beef Marketing and Distribution Promotion Association. The meat is a delicacy, valued for its flavor, tenderness, and fatty, well-marbled texture. Now, fun fact, the animal must be born, raised, and slaughtered in Kobe. Otherwise, it cannot be labeled and sold as Kobe beef. It kind of reminds me a little bit of champagne from France, right? You could have a sparkling wine from California, and perhaps it's very similar, but you cannot market that as champagne. So, just like that, that is also the Kobe beef that comes out of the city of Kobe, Japan. Moving on to question number 2. What does the DC stand for in Washington, D.C.? And that DC stands for District of Columbia. Washington, D.C., formerly the District of Columbia, and commonly called Washington or simply D.C., is the capital city and federal district of the United States. The city is located on the east bank of the Potomac River, which forms its southwestern border with Virginia and borders Maryland to the north and east. The city was named for George Washington, a founding father, victorious commanding general of the Continental Army in the Revolutionary War, and the first president of the United States, who is sometimes referred to as the father of his country. The district is named for Columbia, the female personification of the nation. So, next time you think Washington, D.C., you better be thinking Washington District of Columbia. Question number 3. Who was the fictional character Shrek marries in his titular film series? And Shrek's wife is, of course, Princess Fiona. Princess Fiona is a fictional character in DreamWorks' Shrek franchise first appearing in the 1990 book Shrek as a magnificent princess, and subsequently in the animated film adaptation of the same name as Princess Fiona. One of the film series' main characters, Fiona is introduced as a beautiful princess placed under a curse that transforms her into an ogre at night. She is initially determined to break the enchantment by kissing a prince, only to meet and fall in love with Shrek, an ogre, instead. Great movie, iconic movie. I remember watching it as a kid, one of my favorites. And of course, Shrek and his wife, Princess Fiona, and who can forget Donkey, my favorite character, of course, voiced by Eddie Murphy. Moving on to question number 4. Earth, yes, our planet Earth, is located in which galaxy? And that galaxy is the Milky Way. The Milky Way is the galaxy that includes the solar system, with the name describing the galaxy's appearance from Earth, a hazy band of light seen in the night sky formed from stars that cannot be individually distinguished by the naked eye. The term Milky Way is a translation of the Latin Via Lactea, which means milky circle, quite an apt name. So, we may call Earth home, but Earth calls the Milky Way home. Moving on to question number 5. How many years are in a millennium? And the answer there is 1,000. A millennium is a period of 1,000 years, sometimes called a kilonum or a kiloyear. Normally, the word is used specifically for periods of 1,000 years that begin at the starting point of the calendar in consideration, typically the year 1. So, for example, 2001 would typically be considered a new millennium. However, the term can also refer to an interval of time beginning at any date. Millennia sometimes have religious or theological implications, and the word millennium derives from the Latin milli, which means thousand, and annus, which means year. So, once again, the millennium, that has 1,000 years. Moving on to question number 6. What kind of tree do acorns grow on? And acorns come from oak trees. The acorn, or oak nut, is the nut of the oaks and their close relatives. It usually contains one seed, enclosed in a tough, leathery shell, and borne in a cup-shaped cupule. Now, the word acorn is related to the Gothic name acron, which has the sense of, quote, fruit of the unenclosed land, end quote. So, acorns typically falling around this time of year. If one falls on your head, just know that you are standing next to an oak tree. Question number 7. What element does O represent on the periodic table? And the letter O, of course, represents oxygen. Oxygen is the chemical element with the symbol O and atomic number 8. It is a member of the, ready for this word, chalcogen group. I'm sure I said that wrong. Nonetheless, it is a member of that group in the periodic table, a highly reactive nonmetal and an oxidizing agent that readily forms oxides with most elements as well as with other compounds. Oxygen is Earth's most abundant element, thankfully, because of course we need it to breathe. And after hydrogen and helium, it is the third most abundant element in the universe. So, next time you're taking a look at the periodic table, as one does, maybe, next time you see the letter O, just know that that is oxygen, the stuff we're breathing right now. Moving on to question number 8. What 3 ingredients typically make a margarita cocktail? And those 3 ingredients, and some would say this is in order of importance, those 3 are tequila, triple sec, and lime juice. A margarita is a cocktail consisting of tequila, triple sec, and lime juice. Some margarita recipes include simple syrup as well and are often served with salt on the rim of the glass. Margaritas can be served either shaken with ice, so that's on the rocks. It can be without ice, which is straight up, or it can be blended with ice, which is a frozen margarita. Most bars serve margaritas in a stepped diameter variant of a cocktail glass or champagne coupe called a margarita glass. The margarita is one of the world's most popular cocktails, and it is the most popular tequila-based drink. So, of course, it needs tequila, starts with tequila, but to have a true margarita, you also have to add triple sec and lime juice. Moving on to question number 9. What is the capital city of the U.S. state of Hawaii? And the capital city of Hawaii is the city of Honolulu. Honolulu is the capital and the most populous city of the U.S. state of Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean. It is the unincorporated county seat of the consolidated city and the county of Honolulu, situated along the southeast coast of the island of Oahu, and is the westernmost and southernmost major U.S. city. Honolulu is Hawaii's main gateway to the world. It is the hub for business, finance, hospitality, and military defense in both the state and Oceania. So, capital city of Hawaii, once again, that is Honolulu. I have a friend who lives in Honolulu. Shout out to my friend Jack in Honolulu, Hawaii. Moving on to our last question of the day. It's question number 10. In the movie Aladdin, what is the name of the blue character? And that big blue lovable character is, of course, the genie. The genie is a fictional jinn appearing in Walt Disney Pictures' 31st animated feature film, Aladdin. Came out in 1992. Genie was voiced by Robin Williams in the first film, but following a contract dispute between Williams and Disney, Dan Castellaneta voiced the genie throughout the direct-to-video feature of Return to Jafar, as well as the television series, before eventually Williams reprised the role for the final installment, the movie Aladdin and the King of Thieves, as well as for the character's own miniseries called Great Minds Think for Themselves. So, in total, the genie appears in quite a few films and TV shows, initially voiced by Robin Williams, R.I.P., and of course, that character is the genie. So that will conclude this round of My Daily Trivia. If you found this round to be a bit too simple, well, I encourage you to check in tomorrow. We're going to make it a little bit harder on Tuesday. Of course, if you found this episode to be a bit too challenging, I still think you should listen to the rest of the episodes this week. We're going to make them fun. I think you might enjoy yourself. I think you should check in anyway. I want to thank all of you again for listening to My Daily Trivia. I'm your host, Danny, and I will see all of you tomorrow.